You asked me if Patrick Mahomes lost this game on Sunday, would I still say he was Jordan-esque? Moot point! Because he won in historic fashion, heroic fashion. And yet, I told you, even if he lost, I was going to stand by the Jordan-esque claim. But how much more? I'll stand by that bad boy now. Because what Patrick Mahomes did, we will all remember it. Just like we remember the immaculate reception, Franco Harris, Terry Bradshaw, Frenchie Fuqua, all of those that were involved in that. We will remember the 13-second comeback. And Rob, you and I throughout this season, we've talked, we've been on the air, we've done interviews with former players, coaches, whatever, and you've asked several of them, what about Aaron Rodgers? 37 seconds left against San Francisco, week 3. And they're down by a point, and he marches them down the field in 37 seconds to get a field goal, the game winner. You thought it was great. Well, how about doing it in 13 seconds? My goodness. Unbelievable. And one of the scenes that struck me, Rob Parker, I mean, we could talk about the two passes to Kelsey and Hill. We can talk about Sean McDermott's, I think, bad mistake where he should have squibbed it. Or at the very least, not even the very least, he had two options, Rob. He could have kicked off short of the goal line, maybe at the 5 or 10 yard line. And if Kansas City runs it, that's going to take some time off the clock. Or if they fair catch, they don't have just 45 yards to go, right? Now, all of a sudden, they've got, or 40 yards, whatever it is, they'd have 60 yards maybe. So they made some mistakes on Buffalo's side. But one thing that struck me, Rob, when Josh Allen, who was fantastic, and I'm going to be honest, he outplayed Mahomes up until that last 13 seconds of regulation and then overtime. He was great. But when he threw that last touchdown to go up 36-33 with 13 seconds left, obviously everybody thought it was over. They showed Patrick Mahomes on the sideline as calm as could be. I mean, he looked like no emotion. He got up, started throwing the football, warming up like he had 13 minutes left. And he goes out there as a cool customer, 13 seconds left, and the rest is history. Delivers 2 dimes, sets him up in field goal range. They tie it, and then they win it in overtime. Rob Parker, yes. Patrick Mahomes, we'll see if he lives it out. But right now, the boy is Jordan-esque.
It was a game for the ages on both sides, and as I continue to watch NFL football, along with the great performances, I cannot get over, and both quarterbacks were tremendous. You're right. Josh Allen showed me
great.
something
Fantastic.
last night, with 13 seconds to even get the touchdown. I thought
and
they
the
were
2-point conversion, Rob.
Yeah,
crazy.
Right. No, that's big time stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the coaching continues to have me. I'm with you. I'm not a football coach, and it's not even second guesses. Like, you don't understand, like, time is of the essence, right? You don't want to leave time on the clock. It doesn't matter. How many games have we watched where guys?
You're right, Rob.
Right. I don't
hey,
like
time.
Like you can't score. You can't score all game. You can't score all game. But Chris, the last 15, 40 seconds, teams always seem to be able to move the ball down and kick a field goal.
Because I think a lot of teams, Rob, and clearly Buffalo did this. They go into prevent.
But it doesn't work.
Right.
How many times, and especially right, and all you got to do is get 2 big ones, one underneath for 20 yards and another one for 25, and they're right there. You know where you want to be. But yeah, it was one of those games that was hard to imagine would finish like that, especially when I thought, I questioned Kansas City's defense. That was my reason why I didn't pick them, and I told you I didn't like their defense, but there's no way I thought Buffalo, with the number one defense coming in, would have been shredded. But Patrick did the job against them, especially late, and beat them. But I was surprised at the points. I was surprised at how it ended. And you're right, at 13 seconds, you just think, man, they're going to come up short, and they might get a shot at a field goal, but it might not go in. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like a deep try. But it was definitely one of those games you will remember because of all the nuances and great performances and stuff that that registers, and you can't forget it. I mean, most people, whenever you see, remember the week before, I was belly aching about all the bad games, all the blowouts, right? We went from 3 or 4 terrible games to watch, right? Remember we complained about Arizona and the Rams. Terrible.
It was 3 out of the 3, I think.
3 out of the 6.
Or I'm sorry, 3 out of the 6.
3 out of the 6 were terrible, right? The Steelers were bad that game. And what was the other one that was really bad? A blowout.
And the Bengals-Raiders game wasn't exciting. It wasn't a blowout.
Right. But there was another blowout.
Arizona game. Arizona got blown out.
Yeah, but there was another one. We're missing it. Rob, we'll come up. But anyway, 3 of the 6 games were bad. And here we had all 4, which went down to the wire.
Kansas City, Pittsburgh,
right. That was the other one. Terrible. But this was the exact opposite, and this is what you want playoff football to be, and you can't script it any better.
Rob, you mentioned the calls by McDermott, and you're right. It wasn't just, the kickoff decision was bad enough. But then after that, and I've heard even ex-players say they didn't have a problem with the kickoff. A lot did, but some said they didn't. Their problem was with the Buffalo defense, the way they basically went prevent and gave them the underneath stuff. But with time running out, if you squib it, Chris, or kick it short of the end zone, you might have cut off 5 or 6 or 7 seconds. Oh,
and
yeah.
it's a totally you got to get to the line of scrimmage twice. You know what I mean? Like, say if I ate up 6 or 7 seconds, Mahomes needed 2.
If he had, he
only would have had.
Didn't he? I think they had 3 seconds on the clock when they set up for the field goal.
Right,
so he
that's
did
what I'm
it in
saying.
10 seconds.
Right.
So maybe it wouldn't have, if they cut off 3-4 seconds, he still would have had 9 or 10 seconds. Maybe he still would have got it done.
But you don't. But given a guy like that time, like we've seen it, you gotta gobble up the time. You could go back to that Atlanta Falcons, Chris, meltdown against the Patriots, where they leave Tom Brady like they're going on plays with 20 seconds left on the play clock. Why wouldn't you go? Every play should be down to the last 2 or 3 seconds.
Absolutely.
Because then you eat that up and you don't allow a guy to get the ball or have as much time. But Patrick got it,
be honest,
and 13
Rob,
seconds was good enough.
13 seconds. I believe that Sean McDermott thought the game was over. I really do. Most people,
he
but you're
couldn't
the
have.
head coach.
You know why? His defense, Chris, wasn't stopping anybody. The defense had given how many points to that?
But we've never seen 13 seconds.
No, I get it. But I'm just saying.
We were amazed at the Rodgers 37 or Stafford's 42.
Yeah, you can't
against Tampa Bay.
No, I agree. 13 is really short. But if you throw the ball downfield and get a pass interference, you could set up something, and that's not what he did. But I'm saying you could make one pass
that's why
long.
They go prevent.
Right.
Because they're like, you're not getting long. But I think, Rob, in that situation, and look, it's tough. I'm second guessing this. But if you go your regular deep, you've been stopping them large part of the game. You've been playing okay. Like you said, you got the top defense in the league. Maybe just go your regular defense.
And play it like that rather than playing prevent. To me, I've seen more big games lost, Chris, in prevent than I just can't get over why guys think that it works. Maybe it works more than we know, and we don't say anything on the days
see it during
when it works.
Meat of the game,
right?
You know what I mean? But at
not
the end of the game,
you got to go after the quarterback. You need to make him uncomfortable.
Right.
You can't just I'm not going to pressure him. I'll just play more guys on the receivers.
Let me ask you this, Rob. Because, Mahomes, for him, by his standards, he obviously had a down year. Still was a good year. He's top
no,
5
for his
in
standards, it was
touchdowns.
down. Right.
Yeah, top 5 touchdowns, top 5 yards per game, but not what we've seen, the past few years. Did he tell you anything? Did he make a statement to you, so to speak, by playing so well in this game? And I mean, because I think a lot of people now who were ripping him for again, not a bad regular season, but down from his standards, I think this almost, now they got to finish the deal, right? If they lose next week, we're looking at it just like we look at Josh Allen, right? It's a great game, but we're moving on. But right now, I think he buys some extra, like, I don't know what the word is, cushion, if you will. Like if he has a bad couple weeks. No, this dude ain't all that. You know what I mean?
No, people will look at that and say he still has some magic, and we saw the magic. There was a lot of times this year where he was, not playing well, throwing the ball, interceptions. What do you have? 8 interceptions in 4 or 5 games.
Early on.
Yeah, early on, where it just looked like, what is this? This is not Patrick Mahomes at all. But, yeah, I mean, you saw that, and he put his team in position to win the game, and it was on his strength of his arm and his play. So I think people will be a little less to jump on him unless it's just something so bad. But, I think he got some extra credit, as Charlie Hayes would say.